In League of Legends and pretty much any competitive game, your mentality is arguably the largest defining factor for your success. Imagine it a bit like the key that unlocks the door to how you go about playing your game. So to that extent, your mindset is extremely important. I'm Foxdrop, and in today's Acer Predator training room video, we're going to explore a little bit about what is the optimal mindset to be having when playing League. This kind of topic can get a little bit scientific, and maybe you don't fully trust me with what I'm going to be telling you because, I tend to talk a lot of rubbish. So how about we enlist the help of an expert for this video?
My name's Dan Himmelstein, and I am the owner as well as performance coach at Premier Esports Academy. I got my master's degree in 2015 in sport and performance psychology, and have since been helping players and teams optimize and utilize mental skills to help them improve efficiently and perform consistently.
This video is all about your mindsets, and the question I want to specifically answer is it better to be a cocky, more aggressive player, or a more respectful but perhaps inhibited player? So first things first, let's define a little bit about what confidence really is, because it's not all defined by that outward facing bravado.
Confidence in many ways can go unnoticed because a lot of the time it is really the thoughts and feelings associated with being confident. Having confidence in your training, in your preparation, and having confidence that the skills you've acquired will be able to help you and assist you in completing the task at hand. Being cocky is a bit more associated with arrogance and disrespect, and it can often be seen pretty clearly from an outside perspective.
So let's look at it like this. Instead of cockiness and respectfulness being these two different things, let's imagine them as two different points on a confidence spectrum, so to speak. So the question isn't necessarily, is it better to be cocky or over respectful? It's more, where on this confidence spectrum is optimal for you as a League player. There are pros and cons to being on different ends of this confidence spectrum, and as you heard, being cocky doesn't necessarily mean that you are a confident player, or more specifically, you can be confident without being cocky. Being too cocky may lead to over-aggression that doesn't suit the style of game that you're trying to play, whether that's within your team comp or your specific matchup. Aggression is not always the best play. Now that is relatively easy to fix, you just get a better understanding of what your role is in the game. That will allow you to decide whether or not it is beneficial for you to play aggressive. For example, if you're playing a scaling champion that only needs to survive the lane phase, then aggressive plays are not only entirely unnecessary, but also strategically risky. And while being too cocky, you may also exude a somewhat arrogant tone, making your team more susceptible to negativity, be a bit more likely to tilt. Perceiving yourself to be a far higher skill in your position also leads to complacency, which will make you sloppy. So to counter this, you can adjust your goals throughout the game. For example, can I get perfect CS this game? Can I not die during the lane phase? Dan actually has a really good video on this, which I'll link to in the description. Either way, if any of the things that I just mentioned about cockiness apply to you, chances are you are too cocky of a player. However, if we look at the other side of things, being too respectful is also not optimal. If you over-respect the enemy team and players, putting them on a pedestal, you may find that you consider them close to unbeatable, which often turns into a self-fulfilling prophecy. In addition, you might find yourself over-preparing, and that can be dangerous if, for one reason or another, your plan goes awry. Of course, you might also miss out on opportunities by perceiving your opponents to be playing perfectly, even when they're slipping up, which is stuff you really want to be taking advantage of. Now, I mentioned a few points about how to deal with your cockiness, getting a better understanding of your role, adjusting your goals to prevent complacency. But what about being over-respectful? I feel that's a bit trickier to talk about. So in general, how do you strike that balance to land somewhere more optimal on that confidence spectrum?
The optimal level of confidence would be somewhere between humble but sure of their skills and abilities. I think the more that you display your confidence by being sure of yourself, confident in your abilities to complete the task and overcome challenges, sure of your training and your practice routines, and trusting that you really are on the right path, the better. Because if you're being labeled as cocky or arrogant or overconfident, you know, it's not only going to decrease your own enjoyment of the game, but it's going to really bring down your whole team as well. So make sure that you are taking a good look at how you're being perceived by your teammates, you know, and checking in with your own levels of confidence.
All in all, if you follow the tips from this video, you should find yourself landing somewhere a bit safer on that confidence spectrum, and you'll avoid unwanted scenarios where you're either being too confident or not confident enough in your play. Hopefully you learned some things from this video though, guys. I tried to keep it quite bare bones and brief, just so you can take away some things straight away. If you want to do a little bit more research on the topic of confidence and stuff like that, maybe check out some different schools of thought. Google cognitive behavioral theory, which is CBT, or acceptance and commitment theory, ACT. That should give you some more information that you can then apply to your league games or whatever you want to apply it to. But thank you so much for checking this video out. Once again, I'm Foxdrop, and I'll see you in the next Acer Predator training room video.